All right, guys, just a little heads up. The interview won't actually start till 7:30 Eastern Standard Time and 13:30 Central European Time. So we're going to give you a couple minutes to get settled. If you're watching this post-dated, go ahead and move on up to about the 3:30 mark, and that's when the interview will start. Thanks for viewing, guys. We'll have a good one for you. So, and look, man, look at this. This is what I gotta learn.
Yeah, man, you gotta have everything ready.
Got to, man. Got to get the understanding down.
Why I see they getting you up and early out of the bed, so
It's man, it's early. It's early.
it was about 7 o'clock there now, or is it still 6:30?
7:30. 7:30 a.m.
Ah, see, man, that's not
I got up 6:30, did my yoga already, so we're good to go. So, viewers, those of y'all just popped on, like I said before, we're starting at 7:30. I just want to give you a few minutes to be able to get adjusted, get comfortable into the live broadcast. So we'll hit the ground running in about 2 minutes. Just want to let y'all know.
Yeah, man. Let me just a second. I'm in my office, so I close this door. So how'd you sleep, Mr. Ross?
And slept pretty good. It's a little warm, but we got some bugs to fix out in the new apartment.
Well, that's awesome, man. It's always good to get stuff done, right?
Oh yeah. Hey, it feels good to be in an apartment without mold or bugs, so it's good.
Hey, man, I'm just happy I got Oreos for today.
Man, I didn't even get a chance to make my shake.
Have you had breakfast yet?
Not yet.
Oh, you slacking.
I know. Hey, let's take me 5 minutes once this interview is over to make my morning shake, so we're good to go.
You gotta get the shake, huh?
Yeah, man. A cup of oatmeal. I got some maca powder. I got some camu powder, some flax seeds, protein, some peanut butter.
I see you been hitting it hard, man. Muscles get big on me over there.
Of course, man. And I gotta keep up with the great Jabari Harris.
Oh man, you gotta send me some more workouts.
I will, man. I will. I will. I
So
will.
how's the personal training life going for you?
Hey, it's tough right now. Just too many. I'm being pulled in too many directions with it, but I love it. I love being able to help somebody get the goals they want and make a better life for themselves. That's all it's about.
Yeah, man, it's a passion. So,
Oh yeah,
it's always a challenge, but you love the challenge because it's what you love to do. So
of course, of course. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here at Live at the Podium. I'm your host, Joshua Ross, and with us today is one Jabari Harris. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I thank the podium for having me here live today, and I'm excited to work with you guys this morning.
Man, we're glad to have you here. We thought we settled the issue with Mike Brown a couple weeks ago, but we really want to know who is the real Mike Brown.
Well, I mean, it's not a doubt that he is the real Mike Brown. I mean, he's done a great job in Europe. He's built a legacy for himself, and he's even been a mentor to me and many other young QBs around Europe. So he is the real deal, Mike Down Brown. I'm just the Mike with a K following in the shadows, trying to get to that elite level. So he is the real deal.
He did. He set a good path for the rest of us quarterbacks or import quarterbacks to follow. So, or any import of that. So, man, it's been a journey for you. You had some stops in college as well as here in Europe. What was that defining step that got you from the college game to here overseas?
Well, it was really my senior year, man. I transferred my senior year to Mid America in Kansas, and for me, it was just about finishing. I tell a lot of people I never would have imagined really playing football after college. For me, it was a joy just to be able to say that I was a scholarship player in college for 4 years, and I got the opportunity to play in games and start and be an all-conference player in college. So really after my senior year, I trained for combines. I did a few pro days, but it was just kind of like that was the thing. Everybody in the States, oh, I want to go to the league. I want to go to the CFL. So my buddies, they were grinding. Everybody had in their mind we were going to the NFL. But after my first, I think, pro day and combine, I got an email from the Portable Butchers, and it was like, hey, we got professional football in Europe. So what do you think? And I'm like, I'm going. Like at that moment, I just knew that that was a part of what I wanted to do. Um, my dream has always been to travel the world. So finishing college up early, I was 20, 21 years old, and somebody comes and says, hey, we're going to pay you to play professional ball and travel the world. And it's like, you go. So that's how quick and how simple it was for me to just make that decision to come to Europe and start playing. And I haven't went back since.
Now, in in reference to other imports that are coming along, is there anything different in that first process from you coming to from Mid America to Porvu? Is there anything you would change about that process, or or you enjoyed that very first recruiting process to come over to Europe?
Absolutely. I think that many imports, when they hear about playing professional ball in Europe, they come with the expectation that it's exactly like NFL, CFL, or even college in the States. And so, it's the biggest challenge about coming to Europe is about being able to be a teacher and a mentor first and a player second. And that was one of the most humbling and hardest transitions for me my first year because just like many imports, I heard the money, I heard the benefits, I heard football, and I immediately just felt like my job was to only play. So I think that for a lot of teams and a lot of players, the first thing is they have to have an understanding of what playing in Europe really means. Every import that I talk to, I tell them you have to have the ability to be a teacher and a leader if you want success. And that was one of the biggest things that was from my rookie and first year in Europe up until now. I just simply learned how to be a teacher and a mentor first and still be a player after that because Europe is definitely an opportunity to give back. And a lot of guys, they come here not knowing that. They come here, most of the guys that I know, they come here thinking about what's next. Am I getting enough film for the NFL or the CFL, or am I gonna get something more out of this rather than thinking like I'm gonna make this the best of what I can make it and whatever comes after that comes. So if I could change anything, it's just my way of thinking as an import about coming to Europe and with more teams just being able to explain to imports what's really required of them beyond playing. So that's probably the only thing that I would change, but that's not just a big change. I think overall, the transition of coming to the States to Europe for me has been pretty good and easy.
This is actually something I wanted to hit a little later, but because of what you just said, let's dive right into it. So you want to make the big thing for you was changing your thought process, getting over here from college. Are there any steps that we could possibly take as for us being experienced imports, or even the podium with information or classes or anything of that nature to really educate and prepare future imports coming overseas? Is there anything we can do to get that ball rolling?
Well, I think that a lot of people are now, from what we're seeing, they're aware of European football and they're aware of the ways to get here. They know that the podium is out there. They know that they have friends here. So finding the opportunities to play in Europe is not a problem. I think that there are several imports and players all across the United States, Canada, Mexico, and even Europe that are finding ways to get here. But what needs to be addressed more and what needs to be advertised is, I think that like I said, what is expected as an import beyond playing. I think that people need to address more that clubs are not just looking for people to win them games, but in Europe, it's more about building the brand and building for the future. Here now we have a lot of junior programs. You have women's football. So like they're really expecting imports to come here and be teachers on every level. And some guys just don't have that ability. Some guys, they can be great athletes, but they've never been in a position where they have to teach. So I think that just the awareness of being more than just a player needs to be addressed more. Because even me being me when my first year when I was recruited, I was never told that I'd work with juniors or that I'd coach women's or that I'd have to really just be a teacher. It was more like, we're expecting you to come do what you do, win games, and have a good time. But I think that once people get here, it's a shock like, oh, wow, this is very different. I got guys that just started playing football and they are already in their 20s. So it's it's a dramatic hit to them. And some guys, they embrace it. They embrace it well. And some guys, they don't. So I think that just the awareness of what expected, like that's something that Podium can do and also teams can do. Just, keep doing what you guys are doing. Keep making it known that, hey, in Europe, the opportunity is not just to build the credibility as a player, but as a coach, as a teacher, as a mentor, and as a friend. Since I've been here, more people have respected not my play, but what I've given them here. And that's what sticks here in Europe. It's not so much about how great of a player you've been, because I think a lot of imports that come here are talented. They're good. But what here matters the most is what you give back. So I think that that's what guys need to understand, and that's what needs to be made aware of. It's the giving back aspect of being a pro athlete in Europe.
And see, and viewers, this is a conversation me and Jabari have had several times over the last calendar year, and we've really built on this philosophical idea of preparing imports to really serve roles that, like Jabari has said, may not necessarily be prepared for. But back to Jabari, now we got that. We do have that philosophy down. We do have the idea there. What can we tangibly do to provide the tools for imports to be successful ambassadors to these programs? Because I know it's on us, it's on to the programs, but as imports, we can really prepare those imports to get there. So what are those tangible things that we can do?
For me, I think that it comes down to not so much of what you guys can do, but also I think that what will help teams and players is I think that there needs to be a way where the teams and the players can get more familiar with each other before guys come. I know from my experience, it was maybe a Skype call and maybe a few exchanged emails, but I feel like if there was a way for players and teams to really be able on a consistent basis to communicate and get a real natural bond before the guys come, I think that helps also. And also if guys have a way to really see what's going on in the off seasons or what's going on while they're not there, that kind of gives them an idea of what needs to be done once they arrive. And also imports need to be able to, once you sign a deal, you know that you're going to be around and you're going to be there in the next 2 or 3 months. I think that imports need to start acting immediately. I feel like some guys, they may sign a deal in January and know they're going to be there in June, but they don't start playing a part until they arrive. So I think that there needs to be some kind of way for guys to just start being involved before coming over and also getting to know their personnel and their coaches and their teammates before they come. Because like for me, I met most of my friends once I arrived. I feel like if I would have built some bonds before, or if I would have been able to see some things before, that I could give some input before I got there, and it's easier for guys to be on the same page. You get a lot of big time quarterbacks that go to Division I schools and they're studs, and they come to Europe and they completely don't succeed. Not because they don't have the intangibles or the ability to do it. They just weren't expecting to have to do it. So I think that that's something that could really change how imports succeed in Europe.
And this is the Jabari interview, but to add on what he's saying, I would like to see some type of central organization. I know we have the IFAF, but obviously that hasn't worked to this point. So I would love to see a central organization, even the players organization, almost like the NFLPA. Obviously, we don't have that financial uh, perks that or the liabilities or anything that they have, but something that can create a central organization that creates a a consistent process for every team and at every level for every import, and that way the teams and players have a framework, a known framework to work through to
And
help
I
ease the process and maybe cure some of the homesickness, cure some of the other issues for imports, and also have teams more prepared to handle these imports and make it easier for them to integrate into their culture.
Yeah, and I agree with you. One thing that I can say about this IFA thing, what a lot of imports want to feel is safe. A lot of guys come here and their biggest fear is just not being protected. And I think that that's one of the arguments that many imports will give you about this whole dispute between the IFAF. There needs to be a union where not only the teams are protected, but the players and the teams are both protected from certain things. It's a bit scary that that the IFAF allows teams to have so much power to make certain decisions and influence certain things, and players can't. I feel like a lot of things could be achieved if there was an organization where it wasn't one voice or this voice, but every voice worked together, like you said. So I think that's something in the future that for European football that can happen, that can make the sport grow. I mean, when you think about the NCAA, you think about the NFL, you think about any other major sport, they're all under one roof working
Mm-hmm.
together for the same good to promote the
Mm-hmm.
same sport. So I don't think that we need two divisions to be, or we want to do it this way on this side, we want to do it the way on this side, and then you got players and imports in the middle saying we want this. At some point, for European football to continue to grow and to thrive, not just be there, but to thrive, we all got to come together and work together. So that's
Mm-hmm.
what I'm hoping happens soon in the future for the European football leagues.
I'm right there with you, man. As we know here in the States and guys in Europe know that this sport can provide lessons that most other sports can't, and most other activities for young people can't provide, such as like teamwork, uh, perseverance, how to grind through a hard situation. When you get knocked down to get back up, and for I don't want to say petty squabbles, but that's about what it is to hinder that growth for young guys. It's sad, and I want this to be more successful than what we have shown to be so far. So
Absolutely.
let's get off that soapbox. We're getting a little depressed. We're getting to a little hard point. So let's move on to some good stuff. So back to your career, man. You've had a very, very, very great career so far in Europe. Tell us about a few stops. I know it's been Finland, Poland, and now back in Finland. So kind of tell the viewers a little more about it.
Well, I started here in Finland. I mean, from the moment that I came to Finland, Finland was home. I immediately felt the love. I enjoyed the atmosphere. The country is beautiful, and it was easy to make bonds and connections here. Um, Throughout my career, I can honestly say I'm fortunate enough to say that I've never really just had um, a situation where I haven't been able to really just do and give what I wanted to give to the game. And even playing in Poland, I mean, a lot of people think that, my experience in Poland may have been bad or things may have been crappy, but honestly, I had like the best 2 years of my life playing there. And then in Finland, that's why I didn't leave. For me, most people, they always challenge me to say, have you ever thought about taking your talents to the GFL or the Austria? And most of the times I do. But for me, having the opportunity to be more than just a player and to actually build something and contribute something to the game, that's what Finland and Poland has allowed me to do for the last 4 years. So I could give you a brief rundown. I mean, starting in Portugal, um, that was honestly my first offer that I ever got in Europe. Immediately after the season, I was just training, hoping like everyone else to have an opportunity to play in the NFL or something. And I mean, immediately right after my last game, the Portugal Butchers was like, "Hey, we want you to come play." And that's why I always fell in love with European football in Finland, because it wasn't about are you a Division I guy? Are you 6'6"? Basically, what I'm saying, the politics that you may see in the NFL and CFL wasn't there. It was just about what kind of character do you have, and can you win us some games, and can you be a family to us? So that's what it's always been for me in Finland, and that's why I've chosen to consistently be here and stay here, because there have been several people here in Finland that have allowed me to not progress, that have allowed me to not only progress and grow as a player, but as a man. I honestly believe if I wouldn't have came to Europe, I wouldn't be half of the person, or my character wouldn't be half as developed as it is now. I've learned most of what I've learned in life here in Europe. And being in Poland also taught me a lot of things, because for me, that situation was all about changing the opinions of the people. Um, in Białystok, it was a great opportunity to not just change the football culture, but the perspective of the people that weren't used to having import players from other places there. And there was a lot of love there. I remember my first year was the scariest thing, because whenever you step off into a plane and you don't know anyone, it's always intimidating.
Mhm.
And just to have, about 70 guys that were like, hey, we're here for you, and we're going to protect you, and we're going to allow you to help us. It's always easy to build from that. And that's what football does.
Mhm.
Even if I didn't know anybody in the town, or if I didn't have, let's say, any friends that weren't football players, I still had that football community. And it's allowed me to feel safe here in Europe, away from the States. So for me, like, it's always been humbling to be here, because I mean, I get to do what I love to do, and I feel safe doing it. And I think that
Mhm.
that's what keeps me and a lot of imports in Europe. It's fun and it's safe, and you get to contribute. So
Mhm.
that's how my career has been the last 4 years, and I love doing what I do here.
Yeah, man. Just to touch on that family aspect, I got me and Ryan, my wife, were coming on the bus from Warsaw down to Rzeszów, and we got stuck in a huge rainstorm at the bus stop in Warsaw. All of our stuff is soaked. We're still both soaked after like a 5 hour bus ride. When we get off, we start grabbing our stuff, and there's Thomas and Michał Zittinger, the board of Rzeszów Rockets, and they look at us. You see like this almost face of not disgust, but like just pure sadness for us. Like they feel so bad for us, and they're heartbroken. And Thomas pops out 2 towels for us, and they grab our stuff, throw it back of Thomas's SUV, and they take us to the hotel. And they're like, "Man, are you okay? Everything good? What else can we do for you? We're so sorry you went through this." And we're just like, "Man, we already feel home. Thank you. Just thank you." And they gave our stuff to the other board member, Kuba, and that he washed and dried all of our stuff for us. So it's that family aspect is so huge over there. It really, once imports can open up and accept what it is for what it is, they're gonna gain lifelong friends. They're gonna gain family. Like those boys in Rzeszów, I can tell you, the 15, 20 of the guys on that roster, I count as brothers. The rest of them, they're like lovable cousins that you sometimes you only want to see at the family reunion, but you love
Sometimes
them
you don't want to
anyways.
be bothered with them. And that's one advice that I give to imports about coming here. Don't be afraid to embrace something new. Don't be afraid to open up. I feel like I have just as much or even more family and friends here that I have
Mhm.
in the States. And so, like, that's one thing that guys have to know. When you come here, yes, it's about football and sports, but people want to help you beyond that. From my experience of being the import that's not seasonal, what I mean by that is my life is not, I'll come for half a year and go back to the States. I mean, I work here, I have family here in Europe. So this is what I do every day. And if it wasn't for me being a person that's able to open up and accept change, accept difference, or just trust other people to be who they say they are, this probably would have been impossible to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey man, well, that's the perfect segue to what I want to get to next. East City Giants. Man, what do you have in store for the European world of football with the East City Giants?
Well, one thing that I've always had the gift of having, man, is just a vision. And I've always just, since I've been here, be able to look at a team, a young team, and just place myself there. And when I came back to Finland last summer, I was playing with the Roosters, and I was coaching the Giants as a quarterback or part-time receiver coach. And I was just thinking about, man, I learned a lot from playing in Helsinki with the Roosters. I mean, that was the first time in my European career where I felt like I played for a grade A organization. I mean, going to practice and just being a player was amazing. I mean, I was getting coached. I was learning from their coaches. I had the great Mike Brown coaching me, being a mentor, and that level of competition was there. But in that setting, I was like, man, I've learned a lot. I wonder if there's an opportunity for me to take what I've learned the last 4 years and try to build something else in Finland. That's what I'm experiencing right now. And so when I was with the Giants at that time, I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to not just play and be the best player in Finland. I want to continue to help build quality organizations so we could get more than one Helsinki Rooster in the league. I want to see Finland become and have the reputation that Germany and Austria has with quality competition from everywhere. So when I looked at this team, I seen that this was a young team with a lot of talent, with a lot of love, and with a lot of people that were dedicated and committed to going that next direction. So I just placed myself in it, and they embraced me arms out. Come on, this is what we want. We're ready to follow you. We're ready to go to that next level. So at the time, the team was a Division II team, and they didn't have a successful year that year. But I just was kind of like, hey, trust me, I've been here before. All we have to do is put in a little work, make a few changes, and bring in a few more people. And I guarantee you, if you guys are committed and devoted to being that as you say you are, this transition can happen, and we can go and be a quality Division I team with aspirations of playing in the Maple League one day. And so that's what we are now. And I've been here all winter, and it's just amazing the changes that I've not just seen in the player development, but in the overall organization. I mean, we're active in the social media. We have tons of coaches for our junior programs and the men's teams. We're doing a lot of great things here, and I think that that's overall what more leagues need. We don't need to just try to develop teams and players for the moment. We need to try to build every team to be a quality, thriving team
Mhm.
to make the competition always consistent. So that's what my goal and mission is here for the Giants. It's not about me taking a step down just to play around here. I want the opportunity to build something of quality. And I know what it takes because I've been able to have that experience being in Poland 2 years and being in Finland for the last three. So I really believe that what I have here at ECG, and not just a player, but as a family, we have everything that we need to do that. And I'm very confident that in 2 weeks, when people come to see us play, they're not just going to see us making plays, but I want them to see how well organized we are. I mean, now we're working on having live streams to where people can watch us play, where they can see quality football. I want them to see how well organized we are, how our coaches relate to the players, how we have a training staff. All of those things are what is attractive to other people coming into Europe. When Americans and other imports come to teams, they like to feel the professionalism. So what my role here has been is to continue to try to increase the level of professionalism to attract quality players and coaches for the future.
That's good stuff, man. That's great stuff. We love to hear that. We love to see new programs grow the right way, just as what you're doing there at ECG. As far as on-field play, who do you have that first game of the year?
We'll be playing the Uvascular Jaguars. They're another young team that I think is trying to make all the right steps to building their program. They've signed some quality imports. Their coach is actually a former Giant, so it kind of be like a family rivalry right there in the mix. But we're very excited. We get an opportunity to go out June 11th and really show what we've been working on for the last 9 months.
And what are the expectations for the 2017 season going to be?
My expectations are never less than making it to the semifinals.
Yeah.
My entire career, regardless of what team I played on, I tell my guys every single day, I hate losing more than I like winning. and I don't know what it feels like to be a loser. I mean, I've lost some games. We've had our share of losses in Białystok in the finals, some close games, but overall, we were a winning team and a quality team. And I tell my guys all the time, I don't care what 2016 was like. In 2017, the Giants are working to be a top three team, and that's what I'm expecting from my guys. We have a lot of tough games. I mean, you got the Helsinki Wolverines and the Kuopio Steelers, which have been teams that have really done it right, and built for the last 2 or 3 years with quality talent. So I'm saying that I want to be able to go out and compete with them, and people to say that we're in that same bracket of level of play as they are.
That's good to hear, man. We're excited to see how the season turns out. We're excited to see the growth of the ECG and finish league overall at all levels. We know that you've done a lot of great things over there so far. We know that you're just getting started. Now,
Thanks, man.
give the audience a quick second. Guys, if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and post those questions. At the end of this interview, we're going to do a little Q&A, get a little information out of Jabari. Any questions you want to answer, go ahead and take a quick shout for. But Jabari, let's get off the field for a little bit. What's the new passion that we're hearing about that you've got going on, that full-time job you've been talking about?
Man, well, since I was younger, I always told my mom that I wanted to be an engineer. So, after just spending the last 3 or 4 years in Europe trying to figure out, okay, where's my place? What is it that I really want to do? I finally made the decision to settle down in Finland. And I wanted to, do more than just football because I mean, I'm a family guy. And of course, in Europe, football can only do so much. So here, as I was here and I was just, working in the restaurant for a while, trying to make a start. It's funny how football can open doors. One of my friends actually through the football community, which is also my coworker now, was like, "Hey man, I seen your resume. Are you trying to, do more with that?" So I'm like, "Yeah, man, I love the opportunity to have that opportunity to be a professional engineer and also do what my passion is." So now, I'm working full time for ISI here in Espoo, Finland, and we build satellites, man. So I'm kind of dealing with the space industry, and I love it, man. It's I feel like if you wake up every day to do a job, it should be something that you love to do, and I love coming in here and knowing that what I do now not just benefits me, but we're doing something that could possibly benefit the rest of the world too. So that's always been my passion, man. And now that I'm able to do that along with football, it just feels like life is perfect right now.
And it honestly looks like it is. You got a beautiful family. You got a beautiful family, great support system, and two jobs. Not just one, but two jobs that you absolutely love and give you that energy to wake up in the morning, man.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of you, big guy. I'm proud of the work you've done. Keep doing you. Keep building everything up. And as of right now, it doesn't look like we have any questions. We got some love for you. We don't have any questions. Here's the first one. Let's take a look at your screen.
Oh man, I don't think I got no bars right now, but definitely next Rooster game, you guys go out and do what you did to Vasa this week. I have a lot of bars to spit for you.
Well, we did have our first question pop up. It's from Daryl Tate. Here you go.
Okay. Okay, I know in the past you've turned down an opportunity in the CFL in order to remain overseas and continue your legacy. What made you make that decision? Well, for me, at the time when I had the CFL offers, I had just learned that I was going to be a father. So, it was like everybody was always like, go get the money, do this and that. But my heart had already been set on being here. I take pride in being a father. I love my kids. I love my family. And so, it was not a question that there was no amount of opportunity that would allow me to miss their life, their births, and just building with them. So, it was just a tough decision to say, hey, I may be turning down big money or a big opportunity, but I felt like I was rich in what I had here. So, and I feel like, making that decision was the best thing that I've ever done. So, I don't miss it and I don't regret it because now I'm in a position where I'm trying to help European football get to those levels. And I feel like it'll be much rewarding if that happens. So that's what primarily made me not focus so much on trying to go to the CFL or try NFL regional combine. It's just that my heart was here with my family and I stuck with it, man.
So, well, Jabari, man, thanks for being with us. I don't want to hold you up too much longer. This has been a good interview. It's been great, not only for imports, not only for teams, but for everybody across the globe. A lot of great information we got to today. Some big things, man. I'm excited for the season for you. I'm excited to see ECG, and I'm excited to see you as the engineer slash family man as well.
Well, I
So,
mean, I thank you guys here at the podium for having me. It's always awesome to be able to share information and to give back the knowledge of what's going on here in Europe to everyone everywhere. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed me as much as I enjoyed you.
of course, man. We're gonna let you go. Enjoy the rest of the day. Shout
Hey, I
out to
gotta finish my
everybody out in the
work schedule,
podium
man.
world.
Because of you, I'm gonna be here till 8.
I hear you. I hear you, man. I hear you. Well, guys, we're signing off. Thanks for joining us today. I hope this interview was just as rewarding for you as it was for us at the podium, and hopefully for Jabari. See you
Yes, it
guys.
was, and I thank you guys for having me. Hope to work with you again in the future.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look forward to it, man. Take it easy.
You too. See you.